So first of all, you just need the slightest openness to approach, the slightest curiosity. And yeah, the courage to step in a little bit and do some experimentation with yourself. But of course, you just come as you are, because you cannot do anything else. I mean, you don't need to take an orange robe on or a funny hat or something like that. Or you don't need to quit your job, or you don't need to eat in a certain way, or you come as you are, because we all come as we are always. And then the transformation starts step by step in different rhythms for different people, because it's not like a tantra factory.
You're not producing tantra.
No. It's not like that. It's like a very unique experience, for each soul is different. Everybody has different needs, and everyone needs to learn certain things in certain moments of life and so on. And people start. Some, they are very balanced when they come. Some, they come with huge problems, like me.
And it's fine. They are all welcome.
Yes, because you have a chance to transform. And the only thing you need is that you want to transform. You don't need to prepare.
You start where you are, and we are complex beings. You cannot just have one weekend. You have to get to know yourself. You have to apply different techniques. You have to grow in the process, and also it helps very much the group. So you learn from others, you ask questions to your teachers, and somehow it unfolds in time, and it's a mystery to be discovered and to allow yourself to be fascinated with in your own experience, because actually you do it for yourself. You are traveling through it, through this journey, just with the wish to get to know yourself. And you get fascinated by seeing, oh, I can feel like this, or I can have this quality, or I feel more balanced, I feel more relaxed.
So we have always theoretical part in which we introduce the teachings of Tantra. As I said, they are grounded in the Tantras, this ancient text. And then we have a practical part, which are actually techniques from the Hatha Yoga system to activate the chakras. So actually we have a period on each chakra, like 5 weeks on the first chakra. And in these 5 weeks, we will practice on the chakra to purify them, to activate them. But we will also study all the psychological aspects and the spiritual aspects, all the emotional, mental aspects. So we will study actually tantric psychology on all the chakras, which is a super efficient way to know ourselves. And in this way, understand our issues, and we have the specific techniques to work on them. And that's kind of the ABC of Tantra, because this knowledge of the chakras are derived from the Tantric texts.
It's a new knowledge, it's something we are never told or is never spoken about, energy, chakras, consciousness. So you start to understand this subtle anatomy of your being, and then when you work there, it's like suddenly you realize, now I'm more courageous, I have more willpower. It's a process that starts to unfold. We are not a quick fix. It's not like you have carried a pattern throughout your entire life and then you do a little bit of yoga and then you become radiant and the person whom you always wanted to be. But definitely, if you persevere and if you commit yourself with the practice, for sure you will have results.
Yeah,
we have.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that you have to do it, but each time there are certain practices or certain approaches to your daily life, and then you train it.
And then you share with us how it went, which is always very inspiring. Both for us and I would say for the students to hear the different stories and experiences.
So after the ABC of Tantra. There are many topics to go in because working on the chakras are like the preparation, right? Then you can go into many fields of Tantra. You can go more in depth with the erotic part and study what is actually true intimacy. What is the difference between the sexual experience or the erotic experience, because it's very different. And you can go into, for instance, the tantric relationship chapters, which we teach, is very, very interesting. How do you actually live a fulfilling and beautiful relationship for the sake of spirituality? You can go into the so-called tantric magic, learning to create tantric spiritual rituals that you can do alone, you can do with a friend, or you can incorporate the erotic part into the ritual and do it with your lover. And there are so many chapters to look into. You know, Tantra is endlessly creative and it turns everything towards the spiritual path.
In a nutshell, Tantra is the path of self-discovery of your divine nature, which is ecstatic. That's my nutshell. You like it?
It's a wonderful nutshell.
And of course it contains.
Can I go there also?